Hello again, and welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is the GFH, and we are rocking again. We are back for some more Desert Bus. This game is so good that, I just had to play some more. But, no, okay, really, here's the thing. It's really ironic that I actually did the Desert Bus video last week. Earlier in the week, I did a video for that Omnibus, or I had that video recorded a long time ago, released that. And then I thought about the Desert Bus thing, gave that to you guys over Thanksgiving, and hopefully you guys were able to donate to that Desert Bus charity. But no more than the week after, I'm recording this on the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, 2017. And I saw on Twitter this morning that Desert Bus is now available for free on Steam in VR. So yes, I have the touch controllers. You see my nice little hands there. And we are actually in Desert Bus VR. It's got a total graphic upgrade. We got this bus stop here, and if I look over, we got our little board over here, and that is the old beauty. This is our vehicle of choice that we're gonna be taking on the road here in just a moment. And so again, we're going from Tucson, Arizona to Vegas. And since I have the touch controllers, I can actually do stupid things like, oops, I dropped the pen. We draw little tic-tac-toes there. Scribble on the board a little bit. Put that back. Now, the funny thing is, I actually have two choices here. I can be the driver like I did in the original, and you thought that was extreme. If I really wanted to, I could be the passenger. I could take this ticket out and pull the thing, and we would be on our way, nothing to do but sit in our seat and enjoy the scenic ride. But we're going to be the driver, because we're going to have something to do here, so we're going to shove that in there. Yeah. All right, man. Now, the funny thing is...
Hello, thank you all for joining the program. I'm here with author and magician Penn Gillette. Penn, we're talking today about your work with Zero Simulator.
So it's funny, they even put this fake radio station in, which I do want to listen to it, actually, for a while. I mean, I might play this just long enough to listen to this interview, because they're actually going to be talking about the background for this game. So full scale, we got the bus here. I can look back, and when I'm a passenger, you're like several seats back, and you're just sitting there in an empty bus. Let's turn the radio back on.
Well, she was very anti-video game.
So let's get it going.
Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And,
so talking about Hillary Clinton,
your dad, everybody,
and about them being against video
so
games.
She gave a speech
and violence. I'm just going to let you listen for a while here.
They should have video games that dealt with regular jobs, prepare people for the workplace. So her idea for video games was that the video games would be educational. Now, by educational, what Janet Reno means is making you a proletariat.
The thing still veers to the right.
And she said, instead of, simulators that we usually have, like tanks and planes and race cars and submarines and hedgehogs, they would get you ready for a real job. So she stated this, and I was listening with Eddie Gorodetsky, who writes writes on situation comedies. He writes on 2.5 Men, and he writes on, well, I guess Long is his show. He created that show. And we're on Letterman and Saturday Night Live, and also was writing with us on this video game called Smoke and Mirrors. And Eddie said that we both heard the Janet Reno speech together. We were laughing about how stupid it was. And Eddie said, well, let's do what she wants us to do. So Eddie created, said the idea, Desert Bus, and then we brainstormed on it. And the idea was, for Janet Reno, we would give you a chance to actually learn what it would be like to drive a bus 360 miles
open the door.
from Tucson,
blow shut with the wind.
Arizona,
again.
to Las Vegas, Nevada. 45 miles per hour maximum speed. It takes 8 hours to drive it if you do it right. And there's a little bit of a pull to the right.
Yep.
It's not glamorous, it's not pretty, it's not exciting. It's real. And we put this out, and I think a bug hits the windshield at one point, like 4 hours in.
Okay, that's what I was talking about in the other video. Yep.
And it pulls to the right. And if you go off the road, it just overheats, and then you get towed back in real time. And you get 1 point for doing an 8-hour shift. So, mind-numbingly real. I should also point out that you can open and close the door to the bus, but no one's in any of the bus stops. You can't get on. No one gets on. No one gets off. You just drive the bus. So Randy Pitchford,
I like the horn.
Gearbox.
Actually, it sounds like a siren.
First of all, Desert Bus never came out.
It was created but never distributed?
That's right, never came out. I think the company that put out Desert Bus, there was a market correction and they went out of business.
So how is it possible that it is a known entity being recreated for this project?
Well, let me tell you. The reason is that it was bootlegged. It came out, and it got very popular in its bootleg form. People, it leaked, and they started putting it on different platforms. And this group of Canadians started a thing called Desert Bus for Hope. And they raised money for Child's Play, which
is a charity
that buys video games for children in hospitals for a long time. And they started driving Desert Bus for charity for 50 hours at a time, just racking up those points. They got like 5, 6, 7 points, amazing numbers. And we would send them pizzas and stuff. And Randy Pitchford heard about that and wanted to put out Desert Bus 2.0. VR version. He wanted full VR, so he bought the bus.
I've never heard this. This is actually fascinating.
To this, they're going to be using it on the bus. So this will be the first thing you'll hear on your radio. And they bought the bus.
That's exciting.
And they scanned it. And if you are listening to this on the bus now, you've been going, what, 5, 10 minutes? You've had pretty much 8 hours still to go. Radio is not going to get that good a reception. Eddie also had other ideas that we turned down for his...
part of his Terra simulators?
Yeah, Terra. He wanted to do Toll Collector. You an 8-hour shift as a Toll Collector. Portrait Sitter, which I thought was a really good one. You sit, have your portrait drawn.
Oh, man.
And Bird Watcher, which I rejected Bird Watcher as being way, way too interesting. We don't make money bird watching, you know?
Yes.
So 360 miles, you probably got now, the speed you're going, you probably got 355 miles to go. You'll be driving a little bit. And we got it really, really accurate.
Do you think you will accomplish Janet Reno's suggestion?
Well, the question is, someone who does desert bus, would they then be prepared to drive a desert bus?
No.
Much like when you play any of these games she doesn't like, you're not qualified to use a weapon. You don't know how to load a gun, or you're hitting buttons. That's not the way guns run. You know how guns run?
I have never fired a weapon.
You have to load them and stuff.
Yeah.
So you don't know how to do any of the stuff you see in a video game. You don't really know how to do it. I don't know. Do you think if someone does a simulator on an airplane, that if you're flying in a commercial airliner and the pilot goes unconscious, you can take over? I think there's a Flight of the Phoenix is a movie where they're trying to get out of the place and they built an airplane, and turns out the guy who builds the airplane only built model airplanes before. I think that's the big punchline.
I'm not familiar with the work.
Why would you be? I don't think it was a very successful movie. They remade it though. It wasn't successful there. I think Hugh Laurie was in the remake.
Is there
I didn't see it.
any thought given to the luggage capacity on this bus?
Well, we have a bus.
Right.
Randy scanned a bus.
So that you'd be able to open the bottom compartment?
I don't think you can. I think you just sit in the seat. But Randy bought a bus, and they scanned the bus in. So this one should be very accurate. See, Randy wanted to call the Desert Bus 2.0. And I wanted to call it Desert Bus 1.002. Because I wanted there to be a lot of room for big improvements. But Randy says that this is, I haven't done it yet when we're recording this, but Randy says it'll be great. So this is what Janet Reno wants out of a video game.
How successful does the game have to be for Gearbox for us to anticipate Toll Collector or Portrait Sitter?
I don't know. It seems like it'd have to be pretty...
Well, you know, that would actually...
pretty successful.
The funny thing is,
by the way,
that
this
would
version
actually
is
kind of work because you have all those simulator games on Steam
for charity.
that are, you know, they say simulator, but it's completely
most people that are hearing this now will be playing for charity. As much as you know, is the charity worth how long you're going to sit here? It'll be a...
So why not actually have the simulators that do the most mundane
I've only watched others play.
Yeah. For 8 hours?
I don't think I made the duration of the trip.
Yeah, 8 hours in a bus, driving, pulls to the right.
Yep, it does.
What's the longest you've played it?
Like a minute and a half. I wouldn't get to this part. Minute and a half, maybe. Maybe 2.
That's great.
What is the longest you've driven any kind of vehicle?
I've driven across the country a few times. I went with Eddie Gorodetsky, as a matter of fact. We drove a U-Haul trailer.
Okay, I can't go up to the side, otherwise it
from
blanks
Los
out on
Angeles to New York. We drove the whole way. At the time, Eddie Gorodetsky didn't have a license, so I drove the whole way, and he was just sitting there. And we wrote a script during that time called I Came From Space. And we wrote it while we were driving, and we turned it into the production company that had commissioned it. And we got a great comment on it. The producer said to us, I don't think I could have understood this less if it were written in another language. Actually said that. There's some damage done from driving for hours and hours and hours and hours, and this is damage that if you're listening to this, you'll be doing to yourself. At some point, I think a bug will hit the windshield. I don't want to get you too excited, but I think it's going to happen somewhere along the line.
That's what somebody was saying, yeah. I've never seen a video clip of it, but that's what I was talking about in the original Behind Tab video that I did.
They do. They do. Bugs hit the windshields.
I wonder...
Or, I don't know, maybe the windshield hits the bug. I guess that's true, isn't it?
I wonder how long this actual interview is. I didn't think it would be that
the windshield,
long.
the bug, compared to the bus, is almost stationary, right?
Have any animal rights groups contacted you or Gearbox upset with the treatment of bugs in the game?
Well, it's a virtual bug. We don't think we scanned an actual bug. I don't think a bug was hurt. I don't know. But if they have a problem with it, we can take the bug out of the
and then you can just put bugs in that will crash the game or something. I don't know.
Seems like a lot of bug was put into the bus and the dimensions of the bus to get the bus accurate, but not so much so with the bug that hits the windshield.
Yeah, actually, I just said the word bug. I didn't even think about what kind of bug. I just said bug.
Well, that would usually be accurate to a desert environment. What kind of bug that would hit your windshield in the desert?
It should be, shouldn't it, really? Although now, with all these, we've moved species all around the world. There's all these species that are endemic. I mean,
I was looking out the window to the right.
Looks like
it is not
a bug that's endemic to the natural environment, then you can just maybe think that bug came over on a, hitchhiking on an airliner or something, and maybe...
Anyway, okay, so you got a little bit of a more background, kind of what I told you in the original iPad video. But, yeah, so, they have this Desert Bus for Hope every year. They've been doing it, actually, for 10 years now. So some good things came out of this game, even though it was actually never released. They kind of, like you said, they bootlegged it, and they got it out on the internet. And so now we have it. For the Sega CD and the iPad, and I'm not sure what other platforms are out there. I don't know if there's any other console ports or not, or what happens with that. So they have the iPad one that I showed you guys last week, and like I said, it was just so funny that this came out literally the next week after, because I recorded it. I was like, oh, let's tap into this Desert Bus charity, and if anyone's in the giving spirit, you can watch this Desert Bus video after eating all the turkey and that on Thanksgiving, and then watch this video and maybe donate to a great charity, the Child's Play charity through Desert Bus for Hope, and see where all this craziness came from. And then, like I said, checking Twitter this morning, I checked Twitter at work, and I happened to see that this new, I didn't even know it was in development. I had no freaking clue. But yeah, Desert Bus VR was on Steam, and I just started, I was sitting at my desk and I just started laughing. I'm like, oh, you can't be serious. I have to check this out. I have to play this. It's just so dumb, in the best way though. So there's not really a whole lot else to say. I mean, like I said, you can actually do a little bit more in this game. I mean, honestly, this is probably a little bit more engaging than the original version, believe it or not, and that's simply because in the flat screen version, you're just staring at this out your windshield the whole time. I mean, you steer, you honk your horn, you can, let me get over to the left side of the road here. I can grab my little handle here, whee, door goes open, door goes closed. And that's really all you can do, Whoops. This one, I have a little bit more options. I got a little flyer here I can grab. Oh, okay, a little thingy I can grab. Whoa, did I hear a bird? That was unexpected. I thought I heard like it sounded like a seagull of all things. That was weird. Okay, I don't know. I thought I heard something. I'll have to go back and play that back. But that's really about all you can do in this. Of course, I can play with the air freshener if I really want to, and I can listen to the radio. Let's see if he's still talking here.
The original idea, Eddie. I talked to Eddie, and he said he had a lot of credits, but he certainly wanted the credit on Desert Bus. Here's the thing that I find interesting on Desert Bus is we've been talking maybe 15 minutes. There's really nothing else to say that I can think of. And there's probably another 7 hours and 45 minutes of driving the bus.
Exactly.
Should drivers of the automobile be concerned about...
It's not an automobile, it's a bus.
Oh, thank you.
It's a bus. It's called Desert Bus.
Well,
Yes.
It's not called Desert Automobile.
Yeah.
Desert Bus.
Should drivers of the desert bus
The bus.
actually,
It's a
wouldn't a
bus.
bus
be
be an
concerned about
automobile,
their,
though? Like, a
petroleum
car, a
levels?
pickup, a truck?
I think we go on one tank all the way.
I don't know.
I think it's one tank.
I was...
I don't think they put that in, although maybe, this highfalutin desert bus, who knows what they might have built in. But I think, you're talking about 360 miles, seems like a bus could do 360 on one tank of gas. Then you maybe refuel, then you go back the other way. I don't know.
What about there's no bio break or anything for the driver?
No. It's, the rest areas are like 200 miles apart, but, I think you have to find someone else to take the joystick in with you when you're
So there you go, a little bit more insight from Penn himself. Like, the amount of detail that goes into this ridiculous kind of experiment or this concept is just funny, because they even, you're driving this crappy bus, this old bus, and like you said, it veers to the right. The top speed is so slow, it's 45 miles an hour, and even the radio, like, it sounds like this, like, almost like this crappy AM quality, like, I'm going to talk like this, you can just hear the AM quality, or it doesn't sound really that high fidelity, and that's something that you would totally expect to hear out of a speaker that you would have in this vehicle. But the one thing that he did mention early on in that first part of the interview before I turned it off was that, it's funny because, all these senators or Congress people or lobbyists and things like that, they rail against all these video games, be them violent or non-violent. They just, video games are evil. But that's just what you get when you get any new medium. People hated music, they hated rock and roll, they hated TV, movies. Now it's video games. It'll be VR once that catches on, or whatever the next trend is, whatever the next medium is. But, like he was saying, is this going to make me, if I play this for 8 hours and really practice up, maybe to get a couple points, play it for 16 hours, 24 hours, is this going to make me qualified to drive a bus? Pfft, absolutely not. Yeah, the graphic fidelity is here. I mean, it looks damn real. It does. But at the same time, I mean, I'm holding down, the funny thing is I'm actually holding the left trigger, or the left grip button on my Oculus Touch for the throttle, so I'm not using a foot control. And I can actually I can grab the wheel. Damn it, quit it. I can grab the wheel and turn it, but I find that it's way too hard to drive that way because it doesn't always register. I mean, I can. So if I sit here and hold my arm out, yeah, I could do it this way, but thankfully they did actually give me an option. So I can go like this, or I can take my right analog stick on my Oculus Touch controllers and go veer left or right. So at least there's that. But I'm not fighting, I'm not fighting this big steering wheel. I don't know, this thing looks so old, I don't know if it has power steering in it, for all I know. This thing probably steers like a frickin' beast. So, and then you got the veering to the left. You're not we got open terrain here. I don't know how windy it gets. Like, there's just so many things. Like, no, of course you're not going to be qualified to drive a bus. a big bus like this, especially, you know, you got, you know, right now I'm driving an empty bus, but like, you know, normally the point of having a bus is you're carting around a lot of people, and you want to make sure that all those people are safe. So, you know, yeah, I mean, he's just, I love how they're taking it to the ridiculous extreme. It's like, no, this is what they wanted us to make, and they did what they could with the original version, but hey, now we have virtual reality, which is basically, you know, is pretty much, as real as we're going to get at home. You know, we're there. Like, I suppose maybe if it had steering wheel compatibility support, maybe, you know, then you could just sit here and go do-do-do-do-do-do-do, you know, but I can play this with the Xbox controller, or I can play it with the touch controllers, and I had to know, you know, I'm like, I could use the Xbox controller, but no, this is a VR thing. I have to know what type of ridiculous stuff they put in for the motion controls. And yeah, you know, like I said, I can just reach over and wave my hands around. I can tap the radio. I can open the door. I'll quit it. There you go. Fun times. You know, play with the air freshener, but that's about it. You know, but like I was saying, the actual, there's more to actually do than the original version. I can actually look around the bus and get sidetracked. Like I said, I was looking out the window over there during that interview, and I almost went into the side of the road because I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, I mean, I can look around at the bus, look at the desert, get over there again. I can look back at the non-existent passengers. It's fully rendered. Oh man, unbelievable. Nevertheless, I think we're going to wrap it up here. That is Desert Bus VR, the ultimate simulation. Like I said, it's only appropriate for Steam to have something to this degree. Like, you know, like Penn said, it's, you know, if you have something so mundane, it only makes sense for Steam to have something like this because you have all those other simulation things like Goat Simulator or all these other, there's so many now that are like, you know, originally simulations or simulators used to mean something like, oh, you're actually simulating this real thing. And it got to the point where, no, now we're just being ridiculous and we're using the term ironically. But now it's kind of come back around, except for, you know, no, we're not going to simulate something exciting. We are going to bore you to tears for 8 hours straight, if you can handle it. And before we wrap up, let's see if Penn is still actually on the radio.
/ privacy.
No.
In terms of service located at www.gearboxsoftware.com/terms-of-service. This limited software warranty and license agreement. EULA! Maybe periodically updated.
Okay, somebody's got to rip these audio files out of the game just so we can listen to them outside. Because I'm just curious what kind of things they actually put on the radio for 8 hours. I don't know if stuff loops, or if they actually found 8 hours of crap to put in. But that's just funny. Oh man,
license!
Oh, is this
subject to this EULA! And
oh my god, he's reading the user license agreement of this game. That's fucking hilarious.
Non-transferable, limited, and revocable license to use one
Oh man, we're driving down the road in this boring desert listening to somebody narrate this crazy user license agreement. Oh, that's so good.
Your license rights are subject to your full and
oh my god, that's fun. You know what? We're done. We're done here. I think that's all we need to do. So I'm just gonna, we're gonna stop in the middle of the road, and we're gonna listen to this thing just rattle to its stop here. Yeah, I mean, the fidelity of it is actually really good. You can hear the motor just chugging along. Oh, we're slowing down. Please wait until the vehicle has come to a complete stop before collecting your possessions. And yeah, you knew I had to cover this. You knew I had to cover this. Yep, so everybody out. This is, nobody told you, but you're not going to Vegas. This is a reality exercise where we're going to drive your ass half an hour into the desert, and then we're going to leave you, and hopefully you can either survive or get back to civilization. So, out the door with you, and thank you for riding Desert Bus. Yeah, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I totally did not see this coming, but it's great in the dumbest way, but the best way possible. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Follow me on Twitter at BGFH79. And until next time, I will talk to you guys again later. Maybe next time, if I'm doing another kind of video where I just talk about stuff, maybe we'll come back and just be a passenger. You may not have seen the last of Desert Bus. Later, guys.